like I'm trying to understand Discord. I got it!
Congratulations.
Okay, there we are. Are we live?
Hello,
We
everyone!
are!
Woo! Fantastic, fantastic. I joined a couple times. I'm like, I think I'm in the audiences. Like, I'm with everyone else. I'm like, I can't speak. I can't do anything.
Well, we are glad to have you here.
Bear with me, guys,
Welcome.
for a moment.
Very glad to be here. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you for agreeing. All right, everyone. I'm sure you guys are all excited to meet the Jordan himself, the Dr. Ratio English voice actor. You want to introduce yourself? Even though I'm sure most people already know who you are.
Of course, of course. Well, it's very great to be here with you all. Thank you guys so much for your passion and for just your love of this character. My name is Jordan Paul Haro, and I am the English voice actor for Doctor Veritas Ratio.
It's such an honor to have you here with us.
Yeah, a pleasure to be here.
All right, let me drag back my mods so they don't try to eat me alive. If you want to turn on your camera, you can.
Oh yes, of course. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I
You're
was. I think I
really
was just.
fine.
I think I was just celebrating the fact that I was able to find my way in. So,
No, don't
and there we
worry. It
go.
was quite
There you go.
confusing.
Hello, everybody. It is a sunny day today here in Southern California, so it's good to be here.
All right, I gotta pull up the questions. Aries and Fish, you both have the ability to speak again.
Wonderful. Thank you. I love speaking, love talking.
Wait. All right, there we go. Let's pull up the questions. There they are.
Oh, I got to pull them up too.
Up to the top. Start from the top whenever you're ready.
Of
Fire
course.
away.
All right, so first question from Marble Heron. They mentioned that they asked you on Twitter if you had ever played D&D or any other tabletop RPGs, and you said yes. Now they're curious if you have any favorite memories from playing them.
Oh yes, I do. And I remember I got a chance to glimpse the questions just all too briefly, but I know exactly who this is. So thank you so much for your question. I have a lot of fond memories playing Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. I grew up with the original. I want to say. Oh, geez, I forget the it's 3.0, and then I grew up with 2.5 if I'm not mistaken. With the it was just the version I think before 3.0, which I think is what the standard is these days. I could be very much out of sync and out of touch like with the D&D and tabletop community, but this was before like bonus actions and standard actions and other things of those mechanics weren't a thing so much. But with 2.5, that was kind of like my stomping grounds with D&D, and it was more or less. Let's see here. No. It's there's five versions, aren't there? I no 3.5. That's what I'm thinking of. 3.5 and then 4 and then 5th edition. That's what I'm thinking of. Wow. Ignore what I just said. That's right.
Hey,
So
no worries, you're good.
yeah, again, it's been a minute. So, and I think I was misconstruing like the versions with Honkai Star Rail and D&D. So forgive me on that score. But again, I got introduced to it when I was in high school, and I played 3.5, and then carried on to 4.0, and then 5.0 as I progressed. And again, I feel like the camaraderie of that was just so special to me. And honestly, it was a theater geek like me. Like it was the perfect. Um, Foundation as an actor, where I got to be someone that was more interesting and a lot more memorable than myself. So those are the very fond memories that I have of playing D&D, and of course playing with my friends that I've known since elementary school and high school, and those are very very fond memories for me. So yeah,
Sounds good.
Lovely. You mind if I take a crack at one here?
go for it.
Go for it.
Awesome, cool. So, skipping around a little, I saw another follow-up question for the D&D stuff. What's your favorite class and or race in D&D if you had to pick one?
Ooh.
Since we're already here in that neighborhood.
I like playing characters that are vastly different from myself. I had I don't think I have a particular favorite race, but some of the classes that I really loved playing were rogues, and also I want to say monks and I think paladins as well. Though paladins are a bit OP. I think I compromised and I went cleric every so often. But for the rogues, one of my favorite characters that I played, I think of 4.0, was a drow rogue by the name of Malakar. He started out as an assassin, then kind of like multi-classed to monk, and then at some point or other, when fifth edition became a thing, one of the characters that I really enjoyed playing was a cleric, and he was, I think, of the storm god deity, if I'm not mistaken. So I wanted him to be Thor, and so um, I loved the races that allowed me to either be just some completely departure from my own normal vernacular, and actually, now that I think about it, like. Certain foundations was what laid kind of the groundwork for Dr. Ratio, because he kind of speaks with this British, not British vernacular whenever he's delivering lines, and I think a lot of that kind of contributed to D&D with the rogues that I would play, someone with either an English or British or Cockney accent. Accents, I loved doing accents when I was a kid, and of course, whenever I got a chance to be someone that was more beefy and bold and a lot more hardened than myself, like a half dragon or dragonborn kind of character. That was always a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely the more obscure and the more characters that where I kind of had to do some more legwork in order to really kind of depart from my normal voice is some of my favorite races and classes, I would say.
That's wonderful. As a Dragonborn Genasi player, high five to you.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Let's go. Yeah. All right. I'll pass
Beautiful.
the mic. Ask another one, my friend.
All right, I
All
would want
right.
to yeah, English. I would want to ask his question, which was the second one.
Why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me?
Hi, Albert.
Hi. Oh God. Oh no.
Hello, you're fine,
This.
brother. You're fine.
Yeah. Okay. How did you start your career as a voice actor? Well, actually, I forgot. I was supposed to read this in a Dr. Ratio impression. How did you start your career as a voice actor? As an aspiring voice actor myself, I'd like to see where you started and how you got to where you are now.
Oh, excellent.
Beautiful.
Nice.
High points.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for your question, my friend. I'll try and make this brief because I tend to ramble more than I'd like to admit. But I got started with my voiceover career on the realms of YouTube, and this was right around the same time where I was graduating high school, where YouTube really wasn't like the big giant that it is now these days in regards to certain platforms where people can kind of make a career for themselves, streaming content and producing content of their own volition, essentially. So I got started. I urge you and encourage you guys not to look this up, but if you are curious, as my name on my Discord would kind of key you in, I got started with the YouTube channel name Dead Tom, and that was kind of a time where I didn't really understand like branding myself. I just picked a character, like a name that had some sort of nostalgic not really sensitivity, but like some nostalgic feel to me. And I immediately thought of Muppet Treasure Island, and and I thought of Dead Tom, like that was just a skeleton. So, but I got started through that, and I did voiceover impressions. I started out with character, celebrity, cartoon impressions, because everyone that I was associated with, I would just do as a kind of a party hat trick, just do celebrity and cartoon impressions for them. And they're like, dude, you should put your impressions on YouTube. And I'm like, stop, I'm not going to do that. So after the upteenth person encouraged me to do so, I did. So I started producing content for myself, and I kind of fell into that. and just kind of through the channels that existed on YouTube, started kind of paving the way of opening a career to myself. And at the time, it was more of a side gig. It wasn't like my full attention of what it is right now in regards to my career. But that's how I got started, was putting my skills and my talents out there in the internet for people to enjoy and for people to see and consume. And so that's really kind of like where my Genesis story begins, is through YouTube. And a lot of, actually, especially some of my other castmates from Honkai Star Rail, they got their start doing the same thing in YouTube. I think Alejandro and Amelie, like, both big giants of the YouTube and also streaming world. They got started with the same thing, doing covers and impressions and producing content. And so that's kind of where it got started. And then, since I was in California, just through, to make a long story short or long story longer, I started making my way, kind of navigating the channels of like what it looked like to get an agent, to a manager, and also getting casted in things for on camera and also for voiceover. So that essentially is kind of how my career took off.
All right, that answered actually a lot of my questions. Firstly, I have a chance. Let's go. Um, but yeah, no, the little theater student inside of me is really happy to get to talk to you here. So yeah, thank you for answering my question, and I will be
Of course.
passing the mic.
All right.
I don't know to who, just someone pick.
I'll do the next one. Okay. So, someone asked, if you were to add a voice line of choice for Dr. Ratio, how would it go?
Oh, like of my own like creation,
Yeah, I
essentially.
suppose. I suppose.
Ooh, that's a good
Yeah, you're
one.
the writer.
I am the writer. I see.
Hmm.
Um, hmm. That's a good question. I might end up taking a bit too long in order to think of a clever one, because when it comes to writing, as some of you might be out there that either write for a living, or as even as a passion, you kind of know how difficult it might be to make come up with something on the fly, but also want it to be like meaningful, and also because that's the whole purpose of writing, is to have a lasting impression just through words, but through, when it comes to like a dialogue, or like maybe a one-off line that I can think of off the top of my head, because Ratio is very much someone that pursues knowledge, and he detests ignorance, like, to almost to religious standpoint. So if anything, but at the same time, he does kind of have, like, it's very difficult to find, but he does have that little nugget of like soft-heartedness, like, where he does care, but even if he can't really articulate, or if he can't really show that sensitive side of him. But anywho, if I had to pick a line, I would have to go something along the lines of like, it's implied, at least in some of his dialogue, but it's pursue knowledge and wisdom will follow. Something close to
Sweet.
that.
Wow.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Very cool. I'm with it, and I appreciate your respect for writing as a craft. As a
Oh
writer
yeah,
in this seat, I'm very glad.
of
I was
course.
also a writer.
That's
Hey, cool.
awesome. Go Writers! I love it.
Writers assemble.
We're just holding our pens aloft, and like as
Exactly. Who hasn't asked a question yet on the moderating team? Or have we all had a turn?
All right. We're just going in a circle.
All
Loyola.
right. So, next question from Inklin, and they ask if do you have any like pre warm ups or things you do before going to a session for voice recording, I assume.
Yes. Absolutely we do. And I encourage anyone, as who either might be interested in vocal, like pursuing voiceover as a career. It's highly encouraged. Same thing as any professional singer. They always warm up before they do a singing endeavor or what have you. It's the same thing with voice. You have to take care of your voice, and you have to make sure that you're in the right space, vocally and even mentally, whenever you're about to do a session. For me, I always start off with the good old fashioned theater warm-ups with tongue twisters and various, like, not necessarily, um, I'm trying to find the right words for them. Some of them are tongue twisters. Some of them are just basically repeating phrases over and over again. And then, of course, there's breathing techniques and vocal exercises as well that you can implement. Actually, Chuck Huber, who voices Android 17 from the Dragon Ball franchise, one of my mentors, he actually introduced the Wim Hof breathing technique to me, which is where you breathe in through your nose, but like through a steady rhythmic pace, where essentially it's almost kind of get a cold head rush, but basically that clears up the nasal passages essentially, so you can actually breathe a lot better. Because as a lot of you who do a lot of speaking, whatever it is you do on the side, or even if it's just a job just now, you know how difficult it is to kind of maintain just speaking and talking to just people in general. So those are kind of like just the things in my back pocket in my arsenal that I use whenever I need to warm up for a vocal session.
Nice. The theater tongue
Wonderful.
twisters gave me more flashbacks because I used to do musical theater and I had to do those tongue twisters so much.
Oh God, yeah, me too. What's the one they always have you do? Something about in a proper copper coffee pot.
Oh
I don't know if
god.
you do that one in SoCal or not, but
Coffee pot. That very much does seem like a very British or a thing to do, and but I think one of ours was Lolita, light of my life, fire of my mind, my sin, my soul, Lolita. The tip of the tongue taking a trip of three twirls, Lolita, and that was actually our leveling, where we basically say it quiet, then medium loud, and then loud. And but I don't know if that rings any bells for you, but like you're speaking my language, friend. That was awesome.
for sure. All right, so if we're gonna go in a circle, I think
Can I
it
ask
was Aries, then oh, Oz. Sorry, you were saying?
can I ask a question? Because I got
Yeah,
confused.
you didn't yet. Go ahead.
Of course.
I was gonna ask, looking at Dr. Ratio's character, do you think that you have any connection to him and like a personality level at all?
Mm. That's a very good question, and thank you for your question. The interesting thing about the vocation of acting is that in order to give a really great performance, you have to kind of put some of yourself in the character that you're basically portraying.
Yeah.
And I know for me, it was difficult to kind of connect with Ratio because he's very much a stark contrast to what my normal interactions in my own personality is. I tend to be very agreeable with people. I try and treat others how I want to be treated and be kind. And Ratio, not to say that he isn't kind, but he has no filter. And he very much is, he always comes from a place of matter of fact. And sometimes matter of fact doesn't really spare your feelings on that. He very much is like factual first. And I would say probably feelings like maybe even fifth or sixth down a long list of like social norms of just interaction between human beings conversing with one another. But I would say in regards to what I guess like the connection between Ratio and myself, I would say that my there is a bit of I want to say my impatience sometimes that bleeds through to Ratio, because I'm human at the end of the day. I make dumb choices. I get short with people, even my own family. I feel like we've all been there where we've said something that we kind of either regret, or we make a choice out of like, okay, can we just move this along kind of a thing. So definitely my impatience, definitely my um there's a bit of arrogance and ego with him, and of course he's a very intelligent character, and he's got, when I first auditioned for him, it said in the bio that he had three. Now I think it's canon that he has five. So just to kind of like to throw that out there, but essentially, even with the negative kind of characteristics of my own personality, there is good as well that I feel like it tends to bleed in to his character. Definitely his understanding, definitely his I mentioned impatience. There is a bit of patience in there too, especially I think when he interacts with some of like I think Trailblazer, whether it be Callus or Stell, and but yeah, it's the it's the interesting vocation of acting where you're able to kind of allow yourself that, where a little bit of yourself gets poured into the character. So I hope that answers your question.
Wow, that was perfect. That was amazing. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All
Whose
right,
turn is it?
so I think if we're doing it in that order, then it would be Aries, me, then you, Lucille, and
Oh,
does that work?
yeah, that's fine. So
All
wait,
right, cool.
my brain is blinking out. Okay. So Grace asked, "What are the things you like about Dr. Ratio?"
I would have to say what I was kind of hinting at before. Some of the more, I would say, unsavory characteristics about him that I actually really like. Um, I love the fact that he has no filter. He just basically says how it is and what he means. I remember my first couple of voiceover sessions with him. My amazing director, who I'll mention again, depending on what question it is, but Philip Bach is our one of our two amazing voice actors that we have in Honkai, and he basically put it very eloquently to me because he recognized right away that this was a character that was vastly different than myself just from our few interactions with each other. Where he's like, Jordan, I want you to imagine going into a McDonald's and ordering a Big Mac, and they don't do anything right. I want you to take that Big Mac back and say you forgot this, it's not cooked to this, like this isn't even a sesame seed bun, like what is this? I want you to basically have that same kind of like
Oh my
like
No.
goodness.
that same kind of like persona essentially because that's who he is. He knows what he's about. He's the most intelligent person in the room and he doesn't make apologies for it. And so I very much actually love that about him where he's able to kind of say the things that I wish I could say sometime in certain context. Like and I for me even if like someone makes my meal wrong, I'll still eat it if it's good or something like that. I'm not picky in any way shape or form. But in regards to just being able to say things and not really care too much about what others think. That's something that I very much like about Dr. Ratio. That, of course, he's very intelligent. He's got a great mind for strategy and a great mind for kind of explaining things. So those are all things that I feel like I really really enjoy about portraying and voicing Dr. Ratio, and just and again just his character in general.
Beautiful.
The chat is laughing at McDonald's Ratio.
I have to
Aw,
point out
where did this come from?
I have to point out that in the questions channel right now, the most recent message is in fact a picture of a Dr. Ratio plushie getting Wendy's.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that.
That is
So I
so
feel like we have to
cute.
ask this question. I mean, do you think Ratio would have a favorite fast food chain? And if so, which one? I mean,
Oh my
granted,
god.
they screwed up
Oh
his Big
my
Mac, so he's not
goodness.
going back to McDonald's, obviously, since
That's
they
so
screwed
Jordan
up
got
his
funny.
Mac.
answers?
But yeah,
Ba-da-ba-ba.
which one?
I'm not loving it. You know what? If there was a fast food chain, I feel like that ratio would kind of gravitate more towards. I would have to say, because I don't. It rare is the day where you get a chance to like see a character that's just like consuming a meal every so often. I feel like he's like more of like a tea and biscuits kind of a character. But in regard, I don't know. Honestly, I would have to say I think someone said it already. I think Wendy's actually would probably be like a
Let's
pretty
go.
decent like compromise. I'd say. I feel like that, but it would be like definitely like a guilty pleasure of like where he doesn't really go to fast food all that much, but when no one's looking, he definitely like sneaks into the Wendy's. I'll take the baconator, please, quickly.
God.
And
Oh,
bring out
what
Wendy
there's a
too.
link. Okay, so now we
I
need a
just saw,
Wendy's
I just saw
collab
a picture.
with Dr. Ratio.
Did
Someone contact Mihoyo.
Oh my god.
I feel like that would be like Dr. Ratio's cheat day. Like just treating himself to Wendy.
Someone, someone in the chat said, "I'm not loving it."
Oh my god.
He just
My
said it out loud a second
gosh.
ago.
Who said that?
Artists, can y'all start drawing Wendy's Dr. Ratio? I need to see it on
Please,
Twitter.
please.
But like
I need to see
incognito
that
Honestly.
on
ratio,
my
where he's just
desk.
like not being like he's got the sunglasses and maybe like just a guy covering like, yes, I'll take another two,
Be sure
please.
to show Jordan.
Like those people that are supposed to show up to work, but they go to a concert, so they like disguise themselves. That's Dr. Ratio trying to go to Wendy's.
Yep, he's hiding from the paparazzi. They're following him into
The
Wendy's. It's not
IPC
good.
is following him.
The IPC, quote unquote. Okay, we know who you mean.
Oh my god.
Please.
All right.
No, I'm doing an AMA.
Is your cat bothering you? Yeah.
No, it's my sister's dog. She's being a
Um,
little attention whore, like she always is.
As is all of our
oh
fur
my
baby
god.
pets.
All right, let me
Draw
oh sorry,
Dr.
Oz, go
Hold
ahead.
on, let me see if I can find a picture of her.
Oh, Oz, hang on. Were you saying something?
Yeah, I was saying
No,
I
you're
need
fine. Here
artists
you
to like draw Dr. Ratio as the Wendy's logo with the two braids and the like
Oh
and
Oh
the
my
my
blue
god.
god.
like
Please someone do.
Please do it.
oh
Please
All right,
someone do it.
let's try to rein this in here. Oh my god. All right, let me just grab one. I've been going ahead and just trying to compile questions that multiple people asked so that everybody gets their foot in the door.
Of
All
course,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So let me see. All right. Several people did ask for similar requests, and I'm simplifying it here with this one.
Mhm.
User Tosi asks, Mr. Jordan, this isn't even a question, but if you could say, I'm proud of you in Dr. Ratio's voice, I would owe you my life.
Just to repeat the question, I think that trailed off just a little bit.
Oh,
Was the
yeah, I
question,
got it.
or I guess yeah.
Okay, let me try that again. Sorry. Am I a little more audible now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. I got to hold the mic and kiss it. All right.
go.
Um, sometimes
Whoa.
it's just how it is. Wow. All right. Mr. Jordan. Oh, user Tosi asks, Mr. Jordan, this isn't even a question, but if you could say, I'm proud of you in the doctor's voice, I would owe you my life.
Oh my god.
Lots of similar requests for, some encouraging words. So if you want to freestyle it a little, feel free.
I
I
am
feel like this
recording
came
this.
about with the just to do it monologue
Yeah.
that I posted once upon a time
Yep.
ago. All right. This is a message to all of my treasured students. I'm proud of you.
We did it, guys.
My
We need
God.
life.
Beautiful.
Life is so back
Beautiful.
on.
Thank
Another
you very
question.
much.
Another question, because I saw someone ask this as well. Someone wanted a personalized message to Dr. Ratio mains in Dr. Ratio's voice. Whatever you wish.
Personalized message.
Yeah, just for the whole server.
Okay, for the whole server then. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And this is for cool for let's see. All right. So this is for the Discord server, Dr. Ratio Mains from Honkai Star Rail. Never stop thinking, and always remember to SAS Perkippy. 5 points.
I am
Oh,
so honored.
thank you for humoring us.
My pleasure.
Can I
All
ask a
right. Do we want
question?
to? Yeah, go for it, please.
Okay. First, sorry about the keyboard. My mic keeps unmuting. I swear I'm not like slamming it. It's just really loud and I type fast.
Next, the silence.
You're fine.
I'm sorry.
Have that
I'm
problem
just
now.
gonna leave the stage
Keyboard
after.
ASMR.
It is like really fucking loud. But my question is, are you one of the streamers that like plays the game a lot? And if you do, what is your favorite team comp to run?
Ooh. Funny
Ooh.
enough, I actually don't stream. I guest stream these days. but in regards to playing the game, when I did, this is before I didn't know of the gotcha genre. So when I started playing, I'm more of the old school, like when you play, you progress and you become more capable and more competent. And so I wasn't really too familiar with the whole like rolling for your characters and pulling for them. But I remember clear as day, like
Oh
when the
boy.
revelation popped into my brain of just like when I ran out of tickets for my pulls and it said you can get more if you paid like, this much, or you can wait, and play like, because I remember like again, I felt betrayed. I was like, it
That's how they
wants
get
my
you.
money. But yeah, absolutely, I was on the bandwagon where Dr. Ratio was free, where he was absolutely was in my lineup. I can't remember though to save my life who was in my squad. I want to say it was Ratio, Callus, and then like I forget like this it's not gonna paint it's gonna paint me in a bad light no matter how much you slice it, because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just
Right.
a filthy actor at the end of the day, like that doesn't understand the gotcha genre. But my gosh, did it slap, and was it a lot of fun, so which made it that much more difficult to part ways from it, because I'm selfish. I like keeping my money. No matter
It's
what.
not
No matter
selfish.
what it is.
A gotcha is the one trying to scam you. You're not selfish for that. Trust.
Oh my gosh.
Go gambling. All right, thank you.
Hmm.
Hopefully that
All
answered your
right.
question, though. But yeah.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Next question. Let's see. Exotic Butter asks, "What is your opinion on the little Doctor Ratio plushie, the one with the little cape?"
Oh, I think I actually have seen that one. Yes, if someone actually could like just real quick post that like in the chat. I see some activity going on every so often. Oh
Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
think I see it now. Yeah.
I've got him in my room. I could run and get him, but that's okay.
But
You already saw it.
it's so part of me, like, two things come to my mind. I think of Ed Mode from The Incredibles with like no caps. but but then there's the other part of me that kind of has a soft spot for that, because I think of Into the Spideyverse, where like, and Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape. I think it's cool. I like Miles' take on it, where it's like why not just give him a cape? And so I love the plushie, and I love the fact that they gave him a little cape. And I think the fact that he is in kind of plushy form, it works amazingly. It's almost kind of like like a Crypto the Super Dog kind of a thing in regards to that level of adorable
Oh my
ness. So
god.
that's what I think of.
I loved that. I loved watching Crypto. It was one of my favorite shows.
Beautiful. All right, Lucille, I think it's your turn unless we want to have someone
Okay.
else.
Okay. So, it probably got flooded in the chat, so I'm gonna ping you where it is. But because this was requested multiple times, people would like to know how you feel about our class pet, Bunbei.
The rabbit, I think I did
Yes, the
see that.
rabbit.
Yes.
How do you feel about our class pet?
Let me see here. Yes, let me go and scroll down to him real quick. Oh, I just now noticed the Wendy's thing. That's amazing. Um,
Wendy's, no.
oh, I love this. Oh, it's a cute little rabbit. I love it.
Oh my goodness.
That's too cute. Oh my gosh. Quick story here. Oh, and there's even like someone even drew art. Wait, is that Ratio, or is that the one of the characters from Genshin that's holding the rabbit? No, no, it is Ratio. Yeah, I just see the mural. I think, and you see my bald mug like on one of them when I'm doing the pose.
On
Um,
the sorry, on the mural, the rabbit's name is Kaveh, which is one of the Genshin characters. And so on the
right,
mural, Kaveh is the one holding Kaveh the rabbit.
I love the rabbit.
right. That's what I'm
Yes.
getting
Oh.
that from. That's awesome.
Yes.
Um, That's too
adorable.
cute. The story I wanted to share was before my career really started taking off. I actually worked for a quick minute there at a farm actually, and for those of you that are in the Cali region, it goes by the name of Gilchrist Farms, and that was a wonderful place that I worked at for a brief minute, and we had everything from cows, pigs, rabbits, Nubian goats, and I that was a very um, special time in my life that I just absolutely just loved and appreciated because at the time I was in a bit of a dark place to say the least, and so that line of work very much gave me some new motivation and some new joys to have, and working with rabbits was one of them, and so that's something I just look back on fondly during that time. So rabbits hold a very near and dear place in my heart, thinking back of my time at Gilchrist.
That's wonderful. My God, we guessed correctly, guys.
Indeed.
Wow. Okay.
I'm actually
Aries,
just
I
gonna
think
leave the
it's you.
stage. My mic won't
Oh,
stop.
okay, no problem, friend. Aries, were you gonna? I think it's your turn now after Lou.
All
So,
right. Let's see. Next question. For this one is from Pookie. They ask if you could voice any other character in Star Rail, who else would you voice, if anyone at all?
Boot Hill.
Yes, same
I knew
here.
it.
uh,
I
I swear to
totally
God,
see it.
Andrew Russell said the same thing about Ratio. I swear to
Did
God,
he
unless
really? Oh my
I
Yes,
feel like
he
I
did.
think he did. I was in his AMA too. I listened to it,
So
and I
was
swear to
good
I.
God, he said that.
good heavens, man.
And
That's
I
so
love,
funny. Yeah.
yeah, Boot Hill and Ratio AU, where like Ratio is Boot Hill. I love that
Mhm.
Oh
whole
my
art.
God.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh
my
yeah,
god,
we
I
saw you
would
post that on
kill to
Twitter.
see
Yeah.
that.
You guys have no idea how much of a Boot Hill fan I am. Like when he was even first up for like grabs in the auditions, like I wanted him so bad. You have no idea. And so when someone, I don't know who it was, but it was on TikTok that someone shared on Twitter where basically they had Boot Hill's model, but or maybe more of his animations with ratio skin. I'm like,
Yep.
I want that so bad. You
They just
motherfucking
gotta let
shirt bag.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
they
short
gotta
me.
let the good doctor off the leash just once.
Those with a
Oh
loaded
my God.
gun and those who dig their own grave.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
See, clear. Uh-oh. Watch out, Andrew. You got competition. Watch out.
For April Fools, they should have a
Nobody tell.
thing where the characters have swapped voices. Andrew voices Dr. Ratio and Jordan voices Boo Hill. That'll be funny.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, have like an April Fool's thing where you convince them all to let you swap.
Oh yeah, that'd be
God,
absolutely
yes,
amazing.
that would be
Now we have to
perfect.
hear now we have to hear Dr. Ratio's
Doc,
voice
I'm
for this
calling you out. Bring your chalk and meet me at noon.
You brought a chalk
You
to a
bringing
gunfight?
bringing chalk to a gunfight.
He knows how
Oh my
dangerous it
god.
is. Ratio's a
Use
gunslinger through and through. He doesn't need a gun.
he uses the chalk as bullets.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I
I mean, have you
remember
seen
that
him do
meme.
it? You've seen him do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would not want to be on the other end of that stick.
Indeed.
Oh. All right, I think it's my turn to ask a question. So let me go ahead and oh, actually, Soup is one in a trillion. You were one of the people who is allowed to speak in here. So
Yes.
I saw your question and wrote it down. Do you want to read it? Go for it.
Yeah, yeah, let me second. Let me
Hi, Soup.
scroll.
Hi, Soup.
I unmuted myself. Okay. This one was from our friend Alvin and wanted to know, we saw some of your sourdough hobby on your Twitter earlier this year, and we wanted to know how that's going for you.
Funny story. I love making bread. It's one of the very few pleasures that I've really kind of stepped into this year. that I just absolutely love doing. But funny enough, I was teaching two other voice actor friends how to make sourdough. And in the process, I don't know how it happened. But whenever you make sourdough, you have your starter. That's basically kind of the catalyst. Whenever you add flour and water equal parts, it's almost kind of you kind of feel like you're an alchemist or a wizard in some way. It's the closest I'll ever get to like brewing something of like this is cooking, but it feels more like alchemy, which I love. So you have your starter, but when you've used your starter, it becomes your discard. And then what you do with your discard, you either tend to like just use it up or you toss it and then you make new. So, and that thus begins the new process of new starter and new feed. And what ended up happening was after I had kind of done the lesson, what I thought was my discard was actually my starter and I threw it away. And
Oh
so
no.
so I had to start from scratch.
No.
And
Oh
and
no.
I got that starter from my aunt who's Greek, who I may or may not have mentioned at least at some point in my Twitter exchanges, because her love language is making sure that everyone is gratuitously fed, and
Yep.
she turned me on to sourdough making, and so she gave me some of hers, and so I had to call her up. I'm like, Helen, I threw away my starter. I'm sorry.
Oh
She's like, "Oh, it's fine. Just come by and get some
Oh.
more." And so I've just been kind of dragging my feet, getting more starter. But that is something I am planning on doing more in the
that's
future. I
awesome.
want to get
Oh,
back into bread making, and because
yes.
that's very special to me.
We
As a
look forward to
baker,
seeing that. Yes.
as a baker, I
More
love seeing your
bread.
bread posts.
More bread, yes.
More bread. In the topic of bread making, somebody asked in chat, Shrinky the Shinky Core asked, "What kind of bread do you like the most?"
Um, it's hard to not be biased when it comes to sourdough.
You
So
get
I
it.
real.
I
I
love
I
sourdough.
just personally think yeah,
Real.
but
So real.
that's my go-to bias in regards to bread. But if I had to choose, like maybe a guilty pleasure or something like that, probably pumpernickel.
Oh,
Mm. Wild
Ooh.
card.
Tons of butter,
interesting.
tons of butter. Yeah.
Yeah, you need the butter with that guy. You gotta.
Butter.
Mhm.
I would personally pick rye bread. I love rye bread.
Ooh,
So
It
yeah.
is
good.
good. No, I ain't gonna lie about that. That's good sandwich bread right there.
True.
Indeed.
True
That's
indeed.
part of it too, actually. It's because it's such good sandwich bread.
Mhm.
Make a
All
good
right,
weekend.
let me ask one that someone else did not already write. um, let's see. Thank you, Soup. You're the best, by the way.
Thank you.
Alrighty. So then, okay, since we just got through talking about, oh no, wait, this is another question from someone who's allowed to speak. God damn it, Futaba. Would you like to ask your question about
Oh, God, I had him
cooking?
on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll go.
Since we're on the topic, I
So,
mean, why not?
yeah, since we're on the topic, do you think Dr. Ratio would be a good cook?
Oh, 100%. Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
I feel like in order for the man to have the physique that he has, he meal preps. He knows exactly what to put into his body. He knows exactly how to cook it to like the most absolute perfection. But again, it's like the Gordon Ramsay of like it's not fun times in the kitchen with grandma. This is just like we are here to make like to keep a schedule, to keep people
Nice.
fed,
Yeah.
to get the most balanced nutrition that we possibly can. We're not here to like just to have fun. No, that does not exist in this kitchen.
Can you give me a
Yep, he's
where's the
locking
lamb
in.
sauce?
One more
Can you
He's
time.
give me
locked.
a
Oh
hold on, hold on.
no,
Can you
not
give
the
me a
lamb
where's the lamb
sauce.
sauce? Where the
What?
hell is the lamb sauce?
Please.
Mom,
Please.
one time.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Gambler, where is the lamb sauce? I
Yeah,
need it back.
let's
Your mic.
go. We
Uh,
cheered.
He's gonna be like,
I
"What
think
are you?
your
An idiot
I think your
gambler."
mic peaked a little bit. Do you want to like to stand a little further back or something, or just say it
Here, I'll go
slightly
and do that real
quieter?
quick. Yeah.
All right,
So,
go for it. Thank you.
gambler, what? Where is the lamb sauce? I need it stat.
Perfect. Thank you. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Feel like I'm your voice director right now. Wow. I'm
There
kidding.
you go.
Wow.
Your
All
new
What an
favorite.
right,
honor.
we
Gambler.
gotta stop. stop making you push the button to say Dr. Ratio lines. Let me ask a question that's a little more chill. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ooh, if you could
Don't be very
personally
too
oh,
fancy.
sorry.
Oh,
This is
sorry, sorry,
from
sorry. Go
oh, you're good, you're good. This is from Alvini. Alvini asks, if you could try any of Gallagher's drinks yourself, which one would you try?
ahead.
Ooh.
Do we
I
gotta
don't
pull up that
partake of the
menu?
oh, is it one more time?
Do we have to pull up the menu? I don't know if
That would
I
be
mean unless
great.
you
Yes, because
yeah.
I can't really think of his
All right.
menu off the top of my head.
You know
But
what? Why don't I sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as long as there's some virgin options, I don't apparently I don't partake of the alcohol anymore these days. But yeah, if there's definitely some non-alcoholic beverages that he can whip up. I'd definitely be a fan of those.
Awesome. Well, we can just pretend they're all mocktails. Yeah. Why don't I do that while someone else asks a different question? I'll get that menu.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask the next one. Okay,
Hmm.
this is from, I am so sorry if I mispronounce your name. If you're in the audience, please forgive me of my sins. But this is from Chisato. So, hey Jordan, I'm a ratio Kinney because we share a similar profession, and they are an elementary school teacher. So
Oh.
they have two questions. The first one is, if you were a teacher yourself, what subject would you like to teach, and what kind of teacher do you think you would be? And
Mm.
the second one was already answered. It was about D&D.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. But to answer the thank you first off, thank you very much for your question. Funny enough, I actually did think about this question if ever my acting career didn't take off for me. And I feel like those who can't do teach, and I definitely think I would absolutely teach acting. I think back actually on I'll try and make the story brief because it's worth sharing because it actually kind of helped me kind of get past some barriers in my earlier career. But I look back very fondly at my old high school theater teacher, Mr. Whalen, and he I learned a lot actually from him. He was a difficult man to please. He demanded excellence. Even if he was just teaching high school, he demanded us to push past like what we were capable of every single endeavor that we made. The groundwork was, of course, Shakespeare, learning method acting, and like learning like all these different avenues of acting and what it meant to really tap into a character and what made a great performance. And of course, this was more theater, on camera stuff. So voice acting really wasn't like on his radar. Like cartoons just was kind of like that fun Disney like quirky thing that like was like, oh yeah, that this is where TV actors go to die essentially. But I learned a lot from him, and like if anything, I kind of very much respect him all the more, even if I didn't always show up on his radar, even though he had his favorites, and every teacher does. But what he taught has stuck with me to the course throughout the entirety of my career. And if I did go into academics, I would probably be a theater teacher, and I would be happy to like that would be the next best thing for me if my career didn't take off. And what I did want to share this story all too briefly, just kind of an insight to how he interacted with us sometimes. This was like the best rebuke I've ever gotten, but it's helped it stick with me, and because it's traumatizing in the best ways possible. So my Mr. Whalen absolutely hated musical theater. And at one point in the history of our high school, the band kids, the choir kids, and the theater kids all collaborated together to put on a musical, which was called Pajama Game. And this was
Oh,
this
I
was
know that
a
one.
exactly, and so this was a musical that was produced back in the '60s, and so I'll spare the details, but things went horribly awry. We started off on the wrong foot. Everyone hated everyone else because this rivalry. It was like West Side Story, man, where like, oh, it's the choir kids, oh, it's the band kids, let's get them kind of a thing. But we didn't do anything. We just had just kind of like this unspoken bitterness and like disdain for each other. We didn't really go out of each other's way to like make each other's lives miserable. But as soon as we had to learn how to get along, then problems started. So tensions were high. especially for leadership and especially for the teachers. So Mr. Whalen was already in a foul mood. And here we are thinking that like this isn't gonna happen. Everyone's just out to get each other. And so I'm like, guys, like I'm trying to put on a smile. I'm like, guys, just have fun. Who cares? Like, just go out there and do your own thing. So me thinking that what we're putting on is going to be just an absolute steaming pile of garbage, I'm dialing the ham sandwich up to 11. Like, 'cause again, this is musical theater, and so like I'm used to like doing Shakespeare and other serious things, and so I'm super animated, and I'm going because like it's a very serious moment where in the story, in the narrative, where all the union pajama workers are on strike, so they're meeting together in a house, and they're they have beer and stuff like that, and they're trying to discuss, okay, how can we fight for fair wages essentially. And so I'm going again whole ham. I'm going like, this is unprecedented. How can we ever like hope to do something like this? I'm just like waving my arms like I'm Kermit the Frog or something like that. And Mr. Whalen, like I can see him massaging his temples. He stops, like just looking at me as if like I got lobsters crawling out of my ears. He lets it go on for like 5 seconds. He's like, stop, cut. And I'm like the whole room is silent. And he looks at me and goes, Mr. Cartoon, what are you doing? And I was like, well, and here I am trying to find like the right words, and English becomes a second language to me because I'm so embarrassed and so ashamed. He's like, well, can you actually act, Mr. Cartoon? I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, all right, back to the top of the scene.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh,
Wow.
yes. Yeah, Mr. Cartoon.
That's
Oh,
I can't
I have
believe you
never
had Dr.
forgotten that.
Ratio as a professor. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
oh, okay. There's another question by Sino from Oregon, Maine. I don't know if they have asked it yet, but it says, I am a rare person to speak in here, but I need to know what kind of sauce Rachel dips his nuggies in.
At Wendy's.
Funny enough, like I feel like the specific sauce, like there's a lot of really good ones out there, but I'm not gonna lie, because either Cane's or Chick-fil-A sauce, because it's it's Chick-fil-A, like it's like you can't knock, it's good.
Chick-fil-A sauce is
One of those
awesome.
two. One of those
Yeah.
two.
Oh yeah.
I'll let him have the Canes. We got to keep him out of the homophobic chicken place. They'll hate him for it. They'll kick him out.
I've never had Canes.
Cane's
It's
is
good.
so
It's good. I had it recently, and honestly, it was good. I
They
was like,
sell
okay,
that.
I get the hype. I get the
They
hype.
sell that one drink that's called the Arnold Palmer lemonade, and it's so good. And the other day we
Mhm.
went with my family, and my uncle didn't know how it was called, and he called it the Arnold Schwarzenegger drink.
Not the Arnold Schwarzenegger lemonade.
I
That one will
know,
kill you.
I know. Okay,
Oh.
next question is by Emmy, and it says, Hi Jordan, do you have a favorite Spider-Man villain? And if you don't mind, which villain do you think Rachel would work the best as?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Growing up with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, that is very much a very special place in my heart. But of course, like I was a huge fan of Spider-Man since the '90s. I want to say with the Amazing Spider-Man, and of course, I think Batman the Animated Series and X-Men the Animated Series. If I had to pick a villain, he doesn't count because he's an anti-villain. He's an anti-hero, which is Venom. But if I had to choose a villain, um, it would be a toss-up between probably Doctor Octopus because I feel like he's the most like human out of all of them.
Yep.
Doctor Octopus or probably maybe Green Goblin, I would say. And the follow-up question to that is really, let me clarify, was it where would Dr. Ratio fit in the Spider-Verse?
It said, what was your favorite Spider-Man villain? And Which villain do you think Ratio would work best as?
Oh, got you. Honestly, I think I already mentioned him. You know what? Actually, probably a toss up between either Doctor Octopus and probably the Lizard, because both of those are those are scientists
Mad
that have just
scientist.
had
Right.
horrible things, happen to them. So probably one of the two. Probably either Lizard or probably or Doctor Octopus. I think maybe more so Doctor Octopus. I feel like with the extra arms, he has that much more chalk at his disposal.
Yeah.
That many more books.
Beautiful.
8 times the chalk, baby. Let's go. I mean, he could build that contraption in his sleep, probably. Oh, wait, is Lizard the
Remember?
one who, like, he has the ability to, that the famous comic panel meme, the one where someone says, "You could use your power to cure cancer," and he says, "But I don't want to cure cancer. I want to make the dinosaurs alive again." Is that
Yes,
the guy?
that's absolutely him. Yeah, that's Dr. Connors, who
Oh my god.
he's missing an arm, and so he injects himself with lizard DNA to grow it back. But in doing so, he becomes the lizard. And
Ah,
I
okay.
always like that because I always liked werewolves, and I feel
Right, yeah.
like the lizard was kind of like the next cool like transformation thing, because I grew up with like such like amazing werewolf films like American Werewolf in London and a couple others, and during my more edgier high school days, Dark World, and but anyways, I digress. So anyways, that's where that villain comes from.
Very cool. Thank you for explaining that. I don't
Yeah.
want to cure cancer, Grambler. I want to make the dinosaurs live again.
Significant.
Beautiful. Alright, so I've got a few questions myself.
Fantastic.
First one is, how did you react when you got the news that you would be voicing Dr. Ratio? Second one, if you were ever given the opportunity, would you want to voice a playable character in Genshin Impact? And lastly, if you could pick any video game at all to voice a character in, what game would you pick and why?
Ooh. I think I already have an answer for the third, but let me try and see if I can snowball this the first two, because I know they coincide with each other. When I first learned that I booked Dr. Ratio, I didn't know what I booked. It wasn't actually until I mentioned it before, the legendary man, myth, legend Philip Bach, who called me shortly after it was official, and I just finished typing up an email from our coordinator saying, "Hey, MiHoYo wants to sign you," essentially. And I'm like, "Awesome!" I just thought I got another job, and I was just grateful to have that. Philip calls me and is completely like exuberant and ecstatic. He's like, "Jordan, congratulations! Oh my gosh, you got Dr. Ratio!" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I don't think you know what you just got." Because his demeanor completely changed. And I'm like, "What did I get?" He's like, "Jordan, you have no idea. Like this Honkai is huge already, but it's growing fastly." And so not only is it a huge fan base, but also this is going to be a character that's well received, and he's going to be very popular. He's a campaign character, and so not only is this going to supply you with the next, with work for the next year or so, or however long this character stays around, but this is your golden ticket, especially like in the voiceover world. And this is something that I've hoped and prayed and dreamed about, and it was happening. He was painting this amazing picture with his words, and it was like, and I'm like, "Oh, yes, yes, yes." It sounded too good to be true. And here I
Mm.
am, like, I like this was back in May of 2023 that I first learned like that I booked Dr. Ratio. So it was definitely like a delayed reaction. And I would say a delayed reaction is very much the accurate term of not only just voicing Dr. Ratio, but also just the reception of the character as well. It almost kind of, I equated it to like basically you seeing a nuclear explosion in the distance where you just see the mushroom cloud. I'm like, "Huh, that looks big." Whoa! And then there's the shockwave.
Nice.
And so that was the
Mm.
first question. Second question was, what character would I voice in Genshin Impact?
Or like if you had the opportunity to voice just a character, like a playable character in general, it doesn't have to be a specific one.
Oh, gotcha. In Genshin though, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. I'm trying to remember. He's been memed to heck, and it's a little bit of a cop out answer. I can't think of him, but hopefully at least my description of him. But he's got long silvery hair,
I know.
primarily blue colors, long immaculate
Oh,
robes.
Oh, hey,
Monsieur Neuvillette.
Neuvillette?
Yes,
Oh,
Yep.
I
is
like
that
that.
is he in Genshin?
Yes, he is.
The one that
Yes.
a
Yes,
lot
he's
of
one
people
of
say
the
is basically like Dr. Ratio.
Yes, very
Yeah,
much
he
so.
is.
And I've seen the memes. Is he the one who says Konolik Nekalik Dakinis or something like
Yes, that's
that?
yeah.
Neuvillette.
You, what? Hang on, wait.
Oh
One
my
one of
gosh.
us can get it. I'm sure one of us can get it. The
That is
oratrice
awesome.
mécanique d'analyse cardinale. Yeah, there we
That's
go.
right. Oh my
Yeah.
god. That would be the character that I would love to voice.
Neuvillette is awesome.
Yeah. And
He's
for the
great.
third and for the third follow-up question, if I could voice any character from any franchise or from any game.
Mhm. Like if you like, it doesn't have to be like an already existing character. Like if you could pick a video game to voice your own character in, like what
Ooh.
like franchise or what game would you want that to be?
Hands down, Devil May Cry.
Oh,
Oh
that would be
Oh
yeah,
my God,
good
yes.
choice.
Love Devil May
cool.
Cry.
Yeah, there's already like three amazing, characters in that, of course, like with Dante and Nero and
Virgil.
Virgil. Yes, let's go, Virgil. Oh my gosh, what a I love that whole that whole
Iconic
franchise.
trio.
So great. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
For just one last question, so I'm gonna tag you with this. The art team made a beautiful piece of art
Oh
too,
yes.
Okay.
accompanying the embed. We are wanting to know what you thought of it.
Let me see here.
We like made
Oh, I forgot
little
my art was
bits of
on there.
art, little bits of art to put on the chalkboard.
Oh, I love the duck like tastefully. That is incredible. Oh my gosh. Oh my word. You guys are too sweet. Thank you.
Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Everything from my bald head, like in the leaves and the beard, and I love the plushies. I love, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I got no words. I'm just making noises at this point. Thank you. Thank you
Glad
guys so much from the bottom of my heart. This
I'll
was,
let
super
I'll
we're
let my
sweet.
glad
art
you
staff
like it.
know. I'll let my art staff
Thank you.
know. But thank you.
Oh my gosh. I'm so
Glad you
touched.
like it.
They worked really hard on
You.
it. And me, because my art's also on there, but shh, shh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I have a few because a lot of people kept spamming me. Okay, so I'll go and find the first one. Okay, this one is from Chias Chisato again. Oh, I am so mispronouncing their name. I feel so bad. Okay, so going back to the D&D question because I don't think this one was answered. Um, if you can make Dr. Ratio into a D&D 5e if possible character, what class and race would he be? And what stats would you give him according to the standard array?
Oof. It's been a minute, so forgive
A
me
lot of
if
math.
yeah, I would definitely make him a high elf, max out intelligence
Ooh.
and wisdom,
True.
probably a good old fashioned wizard,
Oh.
or maybe an artificer of some kind.
Ooh.
Ooh. That's cool.
Fancy.
I think that would probably be the most probably the most accurate to him in regards to just his character and what he would fit and stuff like that. But because now that I think about it, like because in the game, Ratio he beats people with books and he attacks from a long range, so it would make it would make the most sense to make him a spellcaster, and just on that standpoint alone. So yeah, definitely high elf, max intelligence, max wisdom, either a wizard or an artificer. So that's at least like what I think would be like would befit him the best in regards to building a class and character for him.
Nice, nice. This reminds me
Beautiful.
of the one time in the D&D session, my character was a hello English. It's a priest, and I don't know what happened, but I accidentally turned my holy book into like a weapon that has accurate hit points when I throw it.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Oh,
Continuing
that's so
on.
funny. We're losing him.
Oh my
Survived.
goodness.
Okay, continuing on with Chisato, another thing they want to say was all all thank you for voicing such amazing character. Dr. Ratio often helped me reflect and remind myself the original intention of entering my profession and giving me the motivation to carry on.
Aww,
Aww.
Sweet.
that's cute.
All right. I got another one on my list
Wait,
if
hold
we have
on.
time. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Rai wanted to speak their question.
Absolutely, go ahead. Sorry.
Hi, hello. I had to fight my way up here, but I made it with
You
my
did.
silly little question. I am so sorry, but I have to ask this.
You're
Mr.
fine.
Jordan, please tell us, share the secret of what points Dr. Ratio is giving out. 5 of what? Apples, books, IQ questions, whatever it is, we want to know.
Oh my gosh.
Let me just make sure I'm on the same level with you. You're saying how many points like would he like max points would he give like on any given
Like,
circumstance? I know.
of points,
Go.
like points of what? Like
Oh,
10
points.
points of what?
Oh, 10 points. Yeah, I gotcha. I feel like Dr. Ratio never stops teaching people. So I feel like from all of us who have ever been in that situation where we've had to like do a pop quiz or something like that, it's always out of 100. I feel like it's like you would get like 5 points for this question or 10 points for that, and so it's always in the realms of like academic. And so it's if ever he gives you like 5 points, this is like well done, you're passing the test of life essentially, or 10 points, like however rare that is, because rare is the day that he ever gives 10 points. The only time he actually ever does is when you revive him. So hopefully that answers that question. But yes, whenever like he is dishing out points, as rare as they are, like it means you're doing fine. You're living your life just fine.
Absolutely,
Beautiful.
that's lovely. I also actually have one more question because I just thought of it. Do you personally think, would Dr. Ratio like watching medical shows like
Oh
House
gosh.
MD or something like that?
That's a very good question. I feel like in his downtime, if he was watching medical shows, I think he would probably either watch House or I don't know about Grey's Anatomy, but I feel like House definitely he would, because I
He
feel like
is
he would
house.
just be one of those like that's not a real disease. That wouldn't happen. Like you wouldn't use that tool. Like you wouldn't. I feel like he would be more pointing out like Hollywood's like portrayal of the medical field, because in any sort of medical show, you have to really always up the stakes of like this person has cancer and also like like some undiagnosed thing that only House can solve, and it's like that doesn't exist. so probably
Ooh.
House, but definitely from like he would kind of hate watch it of like it's like, no, you wouldn't use that scalpel, no, you wouldn't use this, like why would you, that's the wrong diagnosis, it's so clear that this is the problem. and so
Perfect.
definitely that would be probably one of his shows that he would watch if ever he had a TV of his own. So
What about The Good Doctor? Have you heard of that one?
wait, The Good Doctor, I think I isn't that a British show?
I'm
I
not
think
sure myself.
I
I'm
think
so out of touch when
it
it comes to modern TV these days. I'm so like I've I've very much detached myself. Like, but I have heard of the Good Doctor, but I don't know. Like, it's can you really quickly maybe describe like the synopsis of maybe 1 to 2 sentences?
Okay, so let me see. It's basically the premise, like this is from the Wikipedia itself. The series follows Sean Murphy, a young autistic surgeon from the small city of Casper, Wyoming, and he then relocates to San Jose, California to work at a new hospital. And he's like, a lot of people are kind of against him kind of working there because they're not too confident with him being autistic and all that. And like they eventually warm up to him over time, but like that's just like basic summary of it.
Right, right. That does sound like a very interesting premise because like someone who like is diagnosed with autism, but in my mind I'm thinking like, oh, as long as he made it through med school, I feel like that's all right. But that
Right?
could be the
Yeah.
hook, or maybe he doesn't have a medical degree, but he's a surgeon, or I don't know. I don't know if that's what the premise is, but it would be an interesting premise regardless, though, if it was at least hinting towards that. But again, in my opinion, if someone's qualified, someone's qualified.
Awesome. Thanks for answering.
Okay. I got a few more questions from the people who've been wanting to ask. So the first one is from Spook. Um, there was another question similar to this, so I'm just gonna rope them into one. So, if you were in Star Rail, what faction, weapon, and what path or element would you be in?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't, as much as I would like to, I don't think I would be of the intelligentsia, the guild material. So, your erudition would definitely not be the most natural fit for me. But if I had to choose one, I'd actually really like to be a Galaxy Ranger. And
Ooh.
Ooh.
but I feel like it would be like probably a hybrid of like Luca's build, because he's a brawler and I actually really like his character. I love that he's like kind of the one punch, kind of a variety. Um I because there's a lot of great warriors and a lot of great um like fighters in Honkai. Of course, the general and so many others that have just really cool unique fighting styles and weapons. If I but having chosen Galaxy Ranger, I would probably either choose kind of like a brawling archetype, like just someone that fights with their their hands and their fists, and and being a monk class, I guess, for if we can kind of equate it to a D&D class. Either that or probably. Well, the thing is now I think about like big giant axes taken, glaive, big giant sword. I'm trying to think like, and also spear as well. You know what? I'm gonna go off the beaten path here. I'm probably a combination
Ooh.
of like monk class slash nunchucks. That's what
Ooh.
I like that.
I
yeah.
think you could also rock like a giant loaf of sourdough, just as a big sword,
Yeah.
big weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my ultimate.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
plain
Nice.
sourdough.
Not the
Someone,
sourdough.
Sourdough.
someone, Slumber asked, who would win in a fight, you or Dr. Ratio?
Oh
Oh,
It's
no.
not
daggum.
Don't
fair. Now
do
come on.
this.
Well, if you think now before I even would throw the first punch, but by gum, I'd give it my best. If he gave me a handicap, I feel like I'd be able to give him a run for his money. Like if like, okay, no chalk, no book, just strictly
Just fist.
fisticuffs. I know
No,
he'd probably win, but I feel like I'd be able to give him a run for his money. So
no gigantic pillar either.
yes,
Just from his ultimate.
you said no pillar. Didn't say that.
Just use your sourdough weapon. Easy one.
Exactly. Yeah. Sourdough
Jordan,
counts
you
as a pillar.
sourdough. It's
Super
super
effective.
effective. Well, I ran away.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, please, someone draw that. Rolling sourdough and Dr.
Sourdough
Oh my
ult.
god,
Yeah,
yes!
we need that. Someone has already drawn Dr. Ratio incog at Wendy's, by the way. I feel like
Yes,
in the
food
question
Yeah.
No
stream.
way.
Yes,
Mm.
that's thank you. That's another
Beautiful.
thing. I'm so not used to people, amazing artists, just like doing like
Oh,
whether it even be just a little one-off thing I said on a stream or some sort of joke or some sort of tribute art. Like that means the world to me. Thank you guys so much for putting out content like in regards to Dr. Ratio and just for my sake too, because I absolutely love it. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
You're always welcome.
Mhm.
Lou, did you have more from your list, or shall we continue on?
Uh, someone asked, Xanthic Cal, if I said your name wrong, I am so sorry. Hi Jordan, what vibe slash mood were you going for when creating Dr. Ratio's voice? Was there a particular inspiration for his sass?
Yes and yes. When the audition first came across my desk when I was auditioning for Honkai Star Rail, a couple things came to my mind. And funny enough, you can find it floating around there somewheres, but his outfit wasn't the same as what we got when he was finally released. He actually wore different pants and he actually wore shoes, dress shoes. So he wasn't
Patches,
rocking like the fancy
shoes.
golden sandals that we know and love, but yeah, but reading his bio, this is when I first understood kind of like just a window into his character. The descriptions were very condescending, arrogant, prideful, vastly intelligent, three PhDs. So immediately I was thinking of Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock. That's the character that just immediately just manifested in the back of my mind. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So as I'm reading the audition lines, some natural things kind of happened where like as I was reading it, like okay, this is still Benedict Cumberbatch, but it needs something. So I kind of incorporated like a little bit of that sass that you were kind of describing. That came from Tom Hiddleston's Loki from the Marvel franchise. So it kind of amalgamated into this kind of British, not British, kind of like pompous kind of a voice. And I think actually one of the audition lines that I got or that was included in the audition was one of his final lines that he says actually when you get the character, which is like kind of the selection like list. I think it was on along the lines of something like um, another day has passed. If your problem still hasn't been solved, is it possible that the problem is you?
It's a classic. All right. Do you have more, Lou, or yeah, I have
Uh,
some written down as well,
you
so
can go.
it's up to you.
Hold on, I was about
All
to
right.
post the concept art because there's also another concept he had.
Oh, there's multiple even. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, long hair ratio. I remember that
I
guy.
miss the long hair
Yes.
ratio.
Yes.
You look so handsome.
He always
That
does.
ratio's so handsome right now.
I know.
Starfish, you can go.
All right, cool. Okay. So, this one, since we briefly touched on your tabletop history and your artistic history, Cowboys the Third asks, alongside tabletop RPGs, have you ever entered the TCG scene of any majorly popular game, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, etc.? Or is TCG not a thing for you?
Well, it's the first time I'm actually hearing of it.
Oh,
Does that
really? Okay.
yeah, yeah. Forgive me. Is that basically just kind of like just staying plugged into a particular franchise?
So a TCG is a trading card game. So basically, if you've ever
Um,
collected cards or played matches with cards, I play Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh myself. So
right.
excuse me, my voice cracked.
Well, interestingly
You're
enough,
fine.
actually. Oh, we gotta go for it.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just curious, have you played a trading card game or not?
I have, yes. I was never very good at them, but of course, I feel like along with Pokemon and a lot of other Hallmark shows back in the, I want to say, early 2000s, Yu-Gi-Oh was definitely my introduction to the card game franchise. I didn't know what I was doing because the card game itself vastly differed from the anime, and I didn't realize that. So whenever I would play with my friends, I would just get my butt handed to me time and time again, and I'm going like, wait, like I thought like it's a trap. Like no, like it's a reaction. Like the trap card like has to like be triggered. You can't just play it. And I'm like, I can't, but they're able to do it in the show. I'm like, the show's wrong.
Yeah. Oh
'Cause-
yeah. I mean, I could write an essay about how Yu-Gi-Oh developed its rules over time and how the anime was not, in fact, the codified full version of it, at least not till recently. But I won't do that because we're not here to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. We're here to talk about you.
Indeed.
So, all right, I did have a couple others written down, but does Aries, do you want to go ahead?
You can go ahead while I search through the
Um,
questions.
1 second. I remembered that Alvin asked one about which of Gallagher's drinks
Yes,
Jordan would try,
Yes.
and we
I was
did get the
about to do
menu.
that. We finally
Yes.
got the menu. All right, let
Hooray.
me go get it again. How are we to best beam this picture into your mind, Mr. Jordan Paul Haro?
I
We
believe
posted in a channel and at you.
um let's see.
I could
Let's
message it to you directly.
yes, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. Let me do that real quick then. Okay. So I have the link in event chat, which is not in front of me. Let me let me go grab it real quick. Jeopardy theme playing. Da, 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 da,
And
da,
of course, like you feel free to
da.
ask me a different question if like while this is still going on. If
It's like
someone
it's
else.
like right here. I just got lost a little bit. All right, here we go. Okay.
Oh, good.
All right, let me send it to you.
Thank you.
Okay. That should pop up there. All right, so if you click that link to that wonderful little guide, and you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see a colorful diagram of all of the drinks arranged in a table. There's
Oh, wow.
recipe reductions and then the premier drinks. And if you click each one, you can see what's in it. But you can also just feel free to go off of vibes alone, names and colors.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great vibes that I'm digging from a lot of these cocktails that I'm looking at. Two actually immediately stand out to me. It's on the list of premier drinks, and top left is Glimmering Dreamscape, and then middle last row Cosmic Turbidity. I think one of those two drinks definitely would be my drink of choice if I were to, if they're of course non-alcoholic.
Yeah, we'll tell Gallagher to make them non-alcoholic for you. He can whip up a mean mocktail, I've heard.
That's awesome.
Perfect. All right, I'll post those for the chat so everybody can see which ones you've
Thank you.
chosen. In the meantime, would someone else like to ask a question? Go for it.
Okay. Aries, did you want to ask?
Yes, I've got one from. Let's see. How do you
My cat has made his
say the name?
presence. He says hi.
Let's see. Oh yes. So, how did you react when the voice directors told you would have to rap as Dr. Ratio for the live stream?
I was a
We
bit taken
love
back when
that.
they told me that I would be rapping. Because I think just one of our two amazing voice directors. One is very much kind of like just like let's just do this, and then the other he definitely leads you into it. Philip was definitely the one to be like, "Hey, ever rap before?" I'm like, "Not really." He's like, "What are you rapping today?"
Beautiful.
Just no preamble, just get ready. You're gonna do
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Love that.
We thoroughly enjoyed that little tidbit.
Yes,
Thank you
quite.
very much.
All right, I have two more, and then I have one that I'm saving for last. And it is yeah, you'll see. From someone in the chat, of course. But I can get through these other two real quick. So Kookie asks, would you rather eat 37 marshmallows or 2 grapefruits in one sitting? My friend stipulates that you cannot drink water in between. So
Oh
what'll it be?
no.
37 marshmallows or 2 grapefruits?
Oof, both would be hell on earth.
37 marshmallows? What is this? The Chubby Bunny challenge?
I've never had a
Well,
grapefruit.
I can't. It'll make my medication no longer work.
Oh my.
Oh,
Let's not have
Yeah.
that happen.
Grapefruit does that.
Yeah,
I
grapefruit is
thought
a
Yeah.
that was
great.
charcoal.
P.S.
It's
It's both.
it just
Oh
it's a
no.
very tart, yeah, a very tart fruit,
Yeah.
and like don't get me wrong, I don't dislike grapefruit, but that amount of that amount of grapefruit would definitely be a challenge to say the least.
Yes,
But
quite.
it's almost like pick your hell essentially because like
It's like pick your
37 like
poison.
marshmallows sounds like a great time until like maybe you're like through like the 12th one and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be sick. This is too much sugar.
Yeah,
But here
exactly.
but see, here's the loophole, however. They didn't mention how big the marshmallows needed to be.
Well,
So you could
true,
just
but
guzzle
I feel
down
like
those
all
little
that's like an
ones.
unspoken condition of like their standard marshmallows. But um, if I had to choose one though, I'd have to go with the grapefruit because I feel like it's just like
Mhm.
this. It feels like I'm taking medication, but it's like I'll just have to muscle through it, I guess.
Beautiful. But yeah, PSA kids, charcoal and grapefruit will mess with your medication, so don't eat them, or at least ask your doctor. All right, so here's the other one. This one is from Ari. Are you surprised that so many people love Ratio?
Genuinely, yes, I kind of am. Uh, like
Yeah.
Oh no.
I thought that I thought he was a pretty cool character when I auditioned for him. I wasn't at all expecting the reception that Ratio got. Like I thought like the people like a good number of people would really kind of like him, but just again that mushroom cloud in the distance, I was just like, oh wow, oh wow, because I was completely unfamiliar with this game and this franchise, and so I didn't know what I was what to expect. But it wasn't until like I started like I found the trailer when my character first dropped, and then just kind of like just through the linkings of like YouTube channels and stuff like that, where you found other people that streamed Honkai content. They're going like, "This is crazy! We're getting a free 5 star!" And I'm like, "Wait, what? Is that significant? Like, what does that
Oh
mean?"
my god.
And then people were
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
"Oh yeah," and people were just going absolutely bananas, and I'm going like, "Oh my gosh, people like him! People like him!"
Yeah. I've played a lot of gotcha games in my time, and giving away free Dr. Ratio might be one of the most generous things I've seen a game do in this genre. So you certainly hit the jackpot, my friend, in terms of getting your character
Especially
out there.
Alright, I got
especially since she's so good in like the follow-up attack teams. She's
Yep.
really good.
okay, I got another two questions. So the first one is from Scoopy. He wants to know how he can start getting into
Oh, the
voice
name.
acting with large companies like Hoyoverse, or should he start off with local agencies near him?
Yes, absolutely. Start off with local agencies near you. They will do the legwork for you in regards to finding new work or finding more potential work. But honestly, you shouldn't like don't feel like you have to be limited where you have to get an agent. An agent helps, but don't limit yourself as to what you can do as well because there's a lot of actors out there that have actually made very prominent careers for themselves that aren't located in places like Texas where you've got Funimation's I mean no Crunchyroll now or LA where you have all these opportunities or even New York. You can really just be a successful actor anywhere like in the world as long as you know how to like navigate and promote yourself and know how to what avenues to go through essentially. So yeah, I would say let's start off like if you're in that place like where you're starting to get more momentum, absolutely reach out to your local agencies and make connections there because they're not necessarily the gatekeepers, but they're the ones like with like connections of connections of connections, and you never know who you're going to connect with on that score. Like reaching out to big corporations like MiHoYo and stuff like that, it's not the soundest choice that you can make. Because again, those auditions, those are protected, and agencies are the ones like that have first access to them. So when you act, it sounds like you are in that place. When you're ready, start reaching out to your local agencies, show them your resume, show them your experience, show them what you're capable of, and then they'll decide whether or not they're going to play ball with you. But yes, that is my advice to you, is to seek out your local agents first.
Very nice. Because I know there's a lot of people here who want to be a voice actor or get into that scene, so I'm glad someone asked that question and you
Mhm.
giving your input. Another question someone else asked, Kirateen asked if you accept fan mail and if there is a place to send it, if you do.
Yes, there is.
Ooh.
I'll probably send it to one of you guys here if you don't mind, and then I
You
can
can send it
probably
to
like.
me.
Yes, I can, absolutely. And because I don't at this point, I'm in the process of getting a PO box, so like the things
Smart,
are like
smart.
are
Nice.
like I'm putting like the tracks in front of the train, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
But yes, I would love to exchange that because I'd love it when people send me things, and I want to have that more accessible to everyone. So I just recognize I need to get a more accommodating space for that. So I'll definitely keep everyone in the loop on that and when it's finalized.
You're the best.
All right.
All right, I've got another couple from some of the people that were posting the question channel. So first one is from Evikin, and they ask, "What is your favorite season slash type of weather?"
Mm. Um, funny enough, when I was in my youth, summertime was my favorite, but now that I'm 35, and I feel like I've already got like a seasoned old man soul in my spirit. And so give me fall weather, give me colder weather, like any day of the week, because
Yes,
I
cold
enjoy
weather.
summer like maybe 2 days, and then after that, it's just like summer's here. I'm gonna be melting like a
Oh
popsicle.
my.
All these kids, you know.
Perfect.
I
And
agree. Fall
then,
is the best. Fall is the best.
Must agree, must agree.
all right, so then this other one is from Churi. I hope I said that right. It's from Churi. And they asked, "How do you think Dr. Ratio would feel about bugs or insects? Would he enjoy them? Would he be disgusted like them?" A couple examples they gave were like spiders, centipedes, stick bugs, things like insects like that.
The
So, like,
stick
how would
bug.
he react to them in general?
I would say I think there's a certain not really genre, but there's a certain like species of insect that I think that Ratio would probably be a fan of. Um, Probably beetles, probably
Mm,
butterflies, and I would probably say there's certain stick insects as well, like kind of like the more like interesting and very like odd looking ones, and like ones that you can
mm,
really kind of like admire their beauty because there's certain like as someone who's not a huge fan of bugs, but I get the appeal of just their beauty. But it's funny enough, like I actually get eaten alive by mosquitoes, so I tend to like
Mm.
not really care too much, like
no one likes
for bugs
them.
just in general. But I get like why some people like them, and to be fair, there are actually some bugs that or insects of the insect kingdom that I actually really like. Of course, like horn beetles, even though we don't really get a ton of them out here in California, like they're more like in the Asian climate. But yeah, definitely beetles. I would say he would be a fan of butterflies, moths. I feel like the more immaculate ones, and probably the stick insects, things that he could really just admire. Like this thing like just exists. It's like really beautiful oddities of life that I think that he would really be able to admire. Because I think even when during his I forget Ron May's storyline when he's kind of in the background, and there was like that super bioweapon that basically imploded in on itself. He didn't really show any disgust or anything like that. He was just I just it existed and then vanished as if it had never been born. Huh, time to get going, kind of a thing. Like it was interesting for a minute, but it's like, oh, it's gone. C'est la vie, kind of thing.
Beautiful.
I love the idea of Dr. Ratio liking bugs. If you've ever seen a green-blue dragonfly, those are very beautiful. They
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
a few taxidermy butterflies and moths, and I love them so much.
Ooh, cool.
Oh
Awesome.
yeah.
So I've got another question from Uncle Rimaru, who asks if you could play as any fictional detective, like Sherlock Holmes or like a lawyer like Phoenix Wright from Ace Attorney. Which of these characters would you choose and why?
Ooh. It's hard to not go with the classic of Sherlock Holmes. I feel like just in like literature in general, where there's like a certain expectation of what Sherlock brings to the table, and of course he's been um perpetuated through culture and through film, cinema, like since I want to say since the beginning of film, actually. And so definitely Sherlock, I feel like would be something that I would gravitate more towards. But again, that's I feel like the ratio in me that would probably gravitate towards that. If I had to equate it to maybe more of an American kind of like hard boiled detective kind of a character. Um, it's not particularly a franchise. It's more of a one-off film. I remember when I was going through film school, one film in particular really stood out to me in regards to the noir genre, um, and that was probably I can't remember his name, but it's portrayed by Jack Nicholson earlier on in his career, and it's Chinatown. Like that
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
that definitely would probably be my someone who's a little more um hard boiled, a little more jaded, a little more nosy, I guess. Like, and then there's of course the iconic scene of was kitty cat, what happens to the fellows who lose who get nosy? Like they lose their noses, kind of a thing. And so I remember seeing that film in film school and just being like, oh my gosh, what a great, character. Because he doesn't always like have the answer, and like he goes out of his way to find it, and he gets really beaten up too. And so
Oh, yeah.
that's definitely a character I feel like I would like to portray. That's like maybe in the future.
It's a good choice.
Awesome.
Very
I've
Nice.
got
yeah.
one last question before I'll hand over the mic. This is a follow-up question regarding the P.O. box you mentioned earlier from Dr. L or Melorat. They ask, like, regarding the P.O. box, would you be open to streaming yourself opening the fan mail that you receive?
That's not a bad idea actually, because I record whenever I do get fan mail from people because I want my response to be genuine. And but I've considered streaming, but there's a couple things that are kind of preventing me of that. It's not a idea that I'll flat out refuse, or at least like not follow up on. I guess it just all depends on what I would be doing. But if it's to open fan mail, I feel like the longevity of that might just fall short. So, but that is something that I would at least like to take into consideration. But at the very least, I always love recording my reaction whenever I get fan mail from people, which is again just such a blessing. Again, I've gotten just everything from like British candies and tea, and someone made a mug for me. Someone like got me like all like so much ratio merch that I that I
Aw,
that I still have in my room. It's
Beautiful.
like beautiful gestures
beautiful.
like that. Thank you.
Aww. Alright, I'll hand over the mic to whoever's next. Sorry about
I got
that.
2 questions.
All right.
The people have been waiting. I'm so sorry, Fish.
No, it's okay. I have one too on my list, but I'll wait for you to get through yours. Go
Okay,
for
so
it.
first one is from Mahi. She says, "Hi Jordan, I'm curious if you had any past musical endeavors, considering how talented you are at singing and rapping."
Damn, you're just dragging
Beautiful.
him for that, huh?
I mean, beautiful.
No,
It was
don't
No.
beautiful.
drag him.
And just to reiterate, like favorite genres, yeah, of music that I enjoy, or like, or just, or what was the repeat the question one more time?
I guess like if you did anything related to like musicals in the past.
Right. Yes. I have. Yes. So being a theater kid, I wasn't like amazing at musical theater. Like I loved like more of like the dance and being physical on that score. But funny enough, I did little endeavors when I was a kid, here and there. Some of it was community theater, some of it was on the realms of just purely dance and sing. There was a troupe I was with called Rock Theater when I was living in Quartz Hill in the Palmdale region. But as a young kid with ADD and ADHD, it was really difficult for me to
Hey.
kind of really,
Hey.
Hey,
like zero in
hey,
and do that.
nice.
So, but as I got older and wanted to put those things more to a heart, more of a precise discipline, I I was involved with high school theater, and of course, like by proxy of that, musical theater, and of course, I even grew up with musical theater from my mom. Actually, there were a lot of musicals that we had. Of course, like Disneyland was our home away from home. We grew up with great musicals like Gone with the Wind, no, not Gone with the Wind, The Sound of Music, and a couple others. Like most of them were Disney titles. But I just learned, as I was mentioning before, when I got started on YouTube, like with impersonating celebrities and cartoons, like some of that was actually singing Disney show tunes. So that's kind of where it started, and then of course I ventured into musical theater, and I wasn't great at it, but when I was in high school, I joined choir, and I figured out that I had some talent, but I didn't know how to like play nice with other musicians, essentially. And I don't mean like I was confrontational, but I had to learn how to tune in and basically harmonize. I couldn't harmonize to save my life. Because I remember this is kind of like where, because this memory sticks with me to my day. It's one of the reasons why the most harsh with my own voice and my own singing, is because my first session with my high school choir, which was a jazz choir, I remember doing a piece with them, and I think it was "Baby You Can Drive My Car" by the Beatles. And we all had our own little sections. I was in the stuck in the bass section, and so I thought when I was singing my moments, when I was singing my pieces, that I was on key. And then my friend who was sitting to the left of me, like, he's singing his heart out. He's got this big old smile. Immediately, was just like, like
Oh my
completely like
god.
what am I hearing when I thought I had to like harmonize. He's like, Jordan, you were not singing what you were supposed to be. So I'm
Oh
like,
gosh.
I thought I was. He's like, no, it's like da da da. So I had a very bad habit of latching on to, like, just by proxy. I couldn't keep to like my own pitch and my own like key, essentially, whenever we're, but that's dynamics. And I'll be the first to admit, like, I kind of suck at it. So in regards to the mechanics, and of course like the technique of like really maximizing a vocal performance, I'm still kind of learning. But like I love singing, I love karaoke, I love just being a goof whenever I have the moment to just like sing anything. And I do love it, but there's a part of me that's just like, you're not a professional, like, just let's just get that out of the way, kind of a thing. So that's, I guess, like where that kind of comes from, in regards to when people like to say like they like my singing voice. I'm like, oh, thank you very much, but it's just one of those things that's really really difficult for me to accept. But I'm learning to, like, accept that. So again, thank you so much for anyone who has enjoyed my singing or my rapping or what have you. So thank you again.
Yeah, I mean, I was in like 3 different choirs in high school, but I never got into a cappella choir for the same reasons you just talked about. It's hard, but I appreciate that you're very open about learning and that it's an ongoing process.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The other question is from Megabyte Mary. Speaking of shows, if Dr. Ratio were to watch a show slash documentary, what would his comfort go-to watch be?
The Great British Baking Show.
Oh my
Yes.
I love
That's a
that.
good
I
one.
love that.
That's a good one.
That's delightful. It's a classic. It's a good show.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Oh, sorry. Did you want to continue, Lou?
No, you're good. You can go.
All right, wonderful. Okay, so this question comes from Lee, and I believe we've touched on this a little bit throughout our chat here, but just to anything else you might have thought about it. Hi, Jordan. Thanks for the event being. Sorry. Hi, Jordan. Thanks for doing this event today. I know that a lot of actors will come up with their own ideas about their characters, not directly in the script, to help inform and round out their performance. Are there any of these ideas about Ratio that you can share with us, all NDAs notwithstanding?
Gotcha. In regards to, I guess, where Ratio could potentially go, the kind of the safe realm that I feel like is this is
Mhm.
all just hypothetical. So this has not been discussed with me in any way, shape, or form where Ratio's character is going to go. I know where I would like him to go. I've actually shared this before with
Mhm.
someone that I exchanged an interview with earlier on
Chris?
when I first
Yeah.
booked him. I feel like Ratio would be one of those individuals to kind of like even emphasize a point where, as like a final teaching lesson, whether it be Trailblazer or someone else, someone that he vastly disagrees with on a fundamental level, or even on an intellectual one, or even on a I don't want maybe a more moralistic one, but someone that he admires or maybe even cares deeply about. That's kind of like what I was thinking, like more like the trailblazer kind of a thing, because at the end of the day, like it's the player that's calling the shots. I feel like would be really great, and I say this with kind of some caution because I know what this entails, but I would love to see Ratio kind of make that ultimate sacrifice kind of a move where like in his final moments he teaches something to the player or he teaches something to one of the characters where it's like, oh my gosh, he was right and I was wrong the whole time. And he's the only one out of a catastrophic outcome, like where it could have been like dozens and dozens of people. It was just Ratio. He's like, don't make that same mistake again, but I believe in you. So that's at
Mm.
least where I would like to potentially see Ratio's character go, where um, I know that his normal personality, like he tends to rub people the wrong way, and he'll fight you tooth and nail if he thinks you're wrong, and he'll call you an idiot, like he won't spare your feelings about it. But in regards to like knowing where something could potentially lead, and he knows like if this person's like their motives are genuine and they have nothing but like the good like in their heart for it, it's like, okay, this person's not going to see what I'm trying to explain to them unless I do this. And I feel like that's what a good teacher and a good mentor does, is even if it's taking the brunt of someone else's poor choice, it's I feel like that's like a really beautiful demonstration of love and also even like true genuine sacrifice. Um, so that's at least where I would like, but I'd also know what that would entail if it does go that way, if it goes that way, but we'll see.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember you talking about this on your interview with Chris. It's on YouTube. You guys should check it out. It's a great interview. And that actually brings me to the one question I wanted to ask personally. So, in that video, and now, you've summed up that you want Ratio to have this teachable moment, this key, pivotal sort of sacrifice in his character, and also that he's playing off of someone moralistically, intellectually, what have you. And from that disagreement stems this beautiful moment of, care and passing the torch. Um, and a lot of people in the comments of Chris's video were saying this, and I'm going to say it too, that You described a character who hadn't been released yet quite perfectly before you ever met him. What are your opinions on Ratio and Aventurine's dynamic in the story? How do you feel about it?
I love how those two like play off each other, and it's almost like oil and water, and
Mhm.
in the best ways possible. And funny enough, I don't mean to rope Camden into this, but I feel like we are incredibly blessed to have this opportunity. And he and I actually come from very similar backgrounds and kind of in the same boat where we've both very much tried our best to make a successful career in this crazy industry. And lo and
Mhm.
behold, we get this amazing golden opportunity where this is kind of like our breakout roles if in our respected careers. So I feel like we have a bit of kinship in just in that journey in and of itself. But in regards to so it kind of like adds this cool dynamic in regards to our characters, even though we don't actually record in the same space. So I would love to like I feel like he and I would have like elevated our ratio and Aventurine's scenes that much more if we were recording in the same space. But sadly, that's just not the norm when it comes to voiceover.
Right.
But for Ratio and for Aventurine, like my goodness, like you couldn't have any further opposites of characters come having to play nice and collaborate with each other. Especially with the Penacony dynamic and how at some point you Ratio betrays him and then of course Aventurine's like he has his own agendas and so it's just like well you played the game but you lost, you know, kind of a thing. And so but even with that last gesture when I forget what token it's called, but basically it's like the note that Ratio gives to Aventurine, like do come back alive, and it's like
Mhm.
this, and I absolutely love their chemistry and their whenever they're together on screen, and it's one of those things where like I kind of like that it's ambiguous and I really like that it's they don't try to like make it overtly complicated in regards like to they're having to like interact with each other. So
Mhm.
I absolutely love them together. I just get this big old smile, like especially whenever Ratio's got a quip or something like that, he's like sarcastically delivering something to Aventurine, and because I feel like just with Aventurine's whole dynamic and his whole I don't want to say gimmick, but this whole archetype is that he wins despite all odds, and
Mhm.
that confounds Ratio. He's like that should not have worked, but it did. That doesn't make sense to me. So Ratio's kind of like this. He sees Aventurine as this enigma of like you defy all logic and probability. I don't know how the hell like this you even exist. Kind of a thing. But yeah, it's one of those things that I would love to see more of in future patches. And I'm all for it. It's and of course I absolutely love and respect that man. Um, Camden, he's a real good friend, and I have the privilege and an honor of working beside him. So can't wait to see what we do together in the future.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. That's really insightful. That's great. Um, Appreciate it a lot. All right. Did So I don't actually know how much time we have today. Like, did you guys work that out prior?
Uh,
I don't think we set a specific time range.
Okay, I
If I
mean,
can
just
remember
how
off
are
the
you
top of my
feeling?
head.
How are you
I'm
feeling, my
feeling
friend?
good. Yeah, I'm
All
feeling good. I
right,
I can
cool.
take the next couple of questions. I will probably need to bounce in maybe the next like 15-20 minutes.
All right.
But yeah, I honestly I don't really have too much on the docket today. But again, yeah, probably maybe next 15-20 minutes we'll probably need to close around that time.
Okay, so I've got one last question personally to ask, and that is if if you or Dr. Ratio were in an Animal Crossing game, what animal would you want to be? Like what kind of villager animal?
Mhm. Um, it's all it's a bit of a cop out answer because it's all the symbolism is all over him. I'd love to see Ratio as an owl, like a
Oh
purple English
yes,
owl.
Oh.
And
maybe maybe a duck.
maybe a dog, I would
It's
say.
like or a duck as well, because like
Oh, a
there's the whole
duck.
rubber duck thing. Yeah,
That's actually
that
not a
would
bad
be
idea either,
great.
actually. Like some sort of mallard, like a purple mallard, I
Oh
feel like. But
yeah,
I feel like this
perfect.
yeah, but I feel like the stipulation with in order for like Ratio to be incorporated into you'd have to really go out of your way to find out where he lives, like completely secluded and isolated from everyone else, like doesn't really interact with everyone, like kind of a unicorn, like for lack of a better term. It's like, wait a minute, this house wasn't here before. Like, oh, hello. It's like, what do you want?
Get
Perfect.
off my lawn. I feel like you gotta like upgrade your library a certain amount before he'll even think about touching your town.
Oh,
Something like
absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, I miss Animal Crossing.
I know. It's such a good series.
All right. So
Alright,
did anybody
that's
Oh, sorry.
that's
Yeah, I
all
was
I
just
have.
gonna
Sorry, you're good?
Oh, no, no, you're great. You're great. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, my friend.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
All right. I mean, I was just gonna say, I have two things that I think we should save for last. So if anyone else has any other questions, I will hold off and wait on that. But you guys should go ahead. All right. I mean, or don't. Oh wow. Hang on. Look in the chat. Someone just drew the high elf ratio, and that is
Oh
gorgeous.
no. Where is
Oh,
Really?
it?
it's in
Where is
questions.
he?
It's in questions. I'm gonna send that to you privately, Jordan, so you can take a look at it.
Yeah, that looks so good.
It's beautiful. Yes. All right.
Gorgeous.
Oh, there you are. Okay, just sent it your way, my friend, so you can take a look at that. It's
Oh,
gorgeous.
god gum. That looks incredible.
Beautiful. Oh, let me just check the username attached to that. Justy. Yes, sorry, Justy. I believe in sourcing art when I see it. So thank you for drawing that. It's gorgeous.
That is gorgeous. I love that. I love the dress shirt and the vest and all the and of course the ears. I love the ears.
Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely a must. Lou, did you have anything else?
I would like to say that. Sorry, I had to go AFK for a moment. The cat required attention.
Oh no.
It's been almost 2 hours
Uh-oh.
into the MAA. Just letting you know. Wow, those 2 hours went by really fast.
I know, right? Yeah, we
Oh
were
my,
just about
right.
talking about wrapping up within the next 15 minutes. So if
Okay.
there's nothing else anyone wants to mention, I have two final ones to close us out. But if someone else
Oh,
wants to
Yay
mention,
did just post another question. So they
okay.
ask, have there been any memorable interactions or conversations with fans or fellow voice actors from HSR that you've had? Like just overall?
Plenty actually. My first convention that I was invited to was Anime Impulsive this year, and that was a
Ooh,
very incredible like just interaction with the fans like so thus far that were very memorable, but it was a different energy where it was a lot of it was fast paced and chaotic, but it kind of like allowed me to just really see like people's appreciation for this character. I had a lot of people come up to me and just say nothing but nice things to me and give me things that I'm just like I'm just a person, and at the end of the day, and I've met so many wonderful people, just not only through conventions but just through platforms like Twitter. And I don't mean to like pick on anyone in particular, but Shenpai, Ace, Lily,
my God,
just to name a few.
Shantai.
Oh yeah, and the list goes on, and everyone's been so kind and sweet and cordial and just like so just the fan base alone has been just nothing but positive. And in regards to, I guess, a particular standout moment between some of my castmates or some of my fellow voice actors, I want to say, actually, oddly enough, you guys will get a good kick out of this. Our first interaction, like, well, they had met before prior to this, even when Honkai had first launched. But it was the first like group
Ooh.
meetup that we did in a long time. This is when I first jumped on the wagon, and Camden as well. This is before I met him.
Hmm.
So we were invited to the Discord channel, and we were trying to coordinate a time to meet up and celebrate when Penacony had dropped. And so we all dressed up for the occasion. We were all very snappily dressed. I think you guys can find some of the pictures on Twitter somewhere.
I
Where
saw a couple of them, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that was my first interaction with Camden, and he and I were the first ones to arrive, actually.
Oh,
So he and I
perfect.
got to hang out and talk before anyone else, and so it was almost kind of like a faded kind of like, oh you gambler, there you are. And so we gave each other a big old hug, and so we were just talking about our stories about like prior to this. He's like, "Yeah, this is my first like breakout role too," and I'm just like, "Freaking small world, dude." And so it was like I want to say that was probably like a very like special moment to me when we all got together. And we started out hanging out in Burbank, kind of like bar hopping a little bit, but we ended actually at a Bob's Big Boys, like at like 12 at night, and like we just ended up getting like a late dinner, and I didn't really eat anything. I just got a big old coffee mug, and so that was all I needed. But yeah, I would say those are some of my absolute favorite moments so far that I can recount of just being a part of this crazy train.
Damn,
Someone
that took me a second.
someone wanted you to recite a message.
Nice.
I'm gonna ping you on it, but someone wants you to say that.
Say,
Uh,
oh,
Y-
which thing? Because we
The
were
Yeah,
gonna
remember
save
the
that for
trailblazer.
later.
doctor's advice note that Dr. Ratio gives to
No,
Aventurine?
not that one. It was the
We're gonna
Mets
save that
one.
one. The which one?
Yeah, no, or
The Mets.
I'll tag you with him. You can say it as like a closing line for when
Or
we finish this whole thing.
Sure.
sorry, I meant Lucille. What were you saying? Sorry.
I
Sorry, you're
added
good.
him on it or pinged him. The one
Okay.
Oh,
it was for the Mets.
The Mets,
The
right,
baby.
beat
football.
me
Yeah,
to it.
the baseball one.
Oh no, that's not the one I was thinking of.
No. Don't worry about it. Um, are you familiar with this meme? The
It's
the
the
Mets, baby, love the Mets.
I think I've heard of it. Let's see. Yeah, can you say you see Trailblazer? It was never about the knowledge. It was about the Mets. Let's go Mets! Get a home run! Oh, good
Nice.
heavens! Absolutely, I can do that. Yes. Let's see here. Oh wait, hang on. I just saw another tag here. Just want to make sure that I have all my
Yeah,
ducks
that
in a
was
row.
the message I was referring to previously.
Gotcha. So yeah, but just wanted to make sure. Is this just like a real quick, like a little request, or is like are we kind of closing out here? Just want to
Yeah, I
want to.
think we're gonna be closing out. So you
Hang
did
on.
mention you have to leave real soon.
Yes.
So basically, yes. So yes, we're gonna talk about the note in a bit, but if you want to do the Mets and that's just a quick little thing, cool.
Cool.
And then there was one other question, and then we will move into closing out. Does that work for everybody?
That sounds good to me.
All right, cool. Go for it.
Awesome. Record if you guys can. So
I've been
for anyone
Yeah,
that
recording.
we've
wants
been
I've been
recording
We
this whole
have
recording.
been.
time.
to. You see, Trailblazer, it was never about the knowledge. It was about the Mets. Let's go, Mets! Get a home run!
Yes.
Love the Mets, baby.
Oh,
All right,
Beautiful.
Love the Mets, baby.
love the
love
Mets.
the
All
Mets,
right,
baby.
rapid fire. There's two more cute questions in the chat that I want to grab before they get eaten by the void. All right, so there's a popular headcanon in the fandom, and this question comes from Zero Ski. Do you think
Mhm.
that Dr. Ratio was the one who gave Aventurine those three pet cats, the little cake creatures? And what would Ratio name them if given the opportunity? You know,
Um,
those little things are crawling all over.
Those cat cakes, as
I
we
don't
like to
know.
call them.
I feel like the head canon for like from what I like to think of Ratio, like he doesn't go out of his way for anybody. But
Mhm.
if he did, like if he did, you know, give the cat cakes, because like who knows, like, you know, who sent it his way. I like, even I don't know at this point. But if he did mention them, if you happen to name them, it's three cat cakes, if I'm not mistaken. Was it
Yes,
three or
Yeah,
yes,
how
yes.
there's
many?
three of them. Yep.
Three of them, yeah. Um, it would help if I knew what they looked like, but just off the top of my head, probably pecan, almond, and uh,
Oh,
and cheesecake.
Oh,
Nice.
that is so cute. I love how two of them
absolutely.
are just like nuts and then cheesecake.
Yeah.
Cheesecake. That's adorable. Love that. We love cheesecake.
Okay.
All right. There was
Please
one more in
stuff.
the chat, and then we can move out here. Um,
Yeah,
which
sounds good.
I have lost because I'm a fool.
Oh no,
Uh,
not the question.
okay. One more question about like a dynamic between two characters. So, what was your impression of Screwlum, and what do you think about his and Ratio's dynamic? Because those two disagree heavily on some academic intellectual principles. How do you feel
Yeah.
about that?
Um, you know, I feel like it's less of like an arch nemesis kind of a thing, and more of like um I don't want to say frenemies, because I feel like just with their dynamic alone, these are two vastly, incredibly um, minds thinking differently, where they see the same problem, they have different solutions. And I feel like that's definitely even in the real world, where like when someone sees a problem and you have like big titan minds in the room, they're gonna have different solutions for that problem, and that might cause for some personal tension as well, where it's just like you're an idiot for like thinking that this is the solution or something like that. But um but in regards to Ratio and Screwlum, I feel like there is maybe an unspoken respect, because they both know what they're about. They both know that they want the same thing. They just have a different way of going about doing it. And I feel like they could probably have their own petty insults for each other and what have you. But because I even think with Ratio's personal mission that we had, where at the very end we found out that Ratio was pulling the strings a little more than he'd like to admit, or than he was that was kind of leading on to. Like they both of them, they both have their own agendas, and they have their own goals and aspirations that they want to achieve. And Ratio kind of saw it as this opportunity, like kind of like as an exam to teach Trailblazer in a very interesting way, because he wants people to like not stay the same. He wants people to grow, and he wants people to learn, even if it's a harsh lesson. That's what I really like about Ratio. And Screwlum, he's more of like the institution of acquiring knowledge and acquiring wisdom and what have you. But it's all
Mm,
from like books. And like there's nothing wrong like with that approach at all. It's almost kind of like the same of comparing like book smart and street smart. Both you absolutely need, but one is not greater or superior than the other. And I feel like this is definitely like
mm,
a school of hard knocks meets a school of like academics. And but funny enough, like Ratio's acquainted with both. He recognizes that real world problems need to be solved by people that, for lack of a better term or even unflattering term, are simple. And it's the simple minded, although it's almost kind of like the dynamic of like a dentist like that hates being a dentist, because like if you just floss, if you just brush your teeth, I wouldn't be drilling into your teeth. It's like, so that's kind of like where he's coming from. Screwlum is again more about this institution of education and intellect, and that's again nothing wrong with it. but there's definitely like a tunnel vision that people get when you're in that environment where you feel like oh, this is clearly the only way, or like this is clearly the only solution. So I feel like I know I've been like kind of going on a tangent here, but in regards to just their dynamic and their interactions alone, I feel like there is a bit of mutual respect. But again, it's definitely that knowledge of like, you think this way, I think this way. We're both seeing the same problem, but I don't think like that bridge of like seeing eye to eye on something. I feel like it'll always either be half complete or like broken in some way. So there's definitely a bit of like unspoken frustration and unspoken like bitterness, maybe a little bit, but that's just my perspective on it because both of them are incredible characters.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that commentary sort of on different means and methods of teaching and learning and academia and approaches to problem solving. So that's really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So as people have been requesting, we did want to close out by asking you to read one last thing, if you don't mind. And I can send
Yeah.
you the screen cap, which I thought I had on my clipboard, but I didn't. So I have to.
I think I tagged him
Did
on
you?
the
Okay.
image. Did you want me to tag you again, or did you want to scroll up yourself?
Ooh.
It's
Yeah, let
the
me see if is where is it again? Is it in the
it's in the
That one,
questions. It's
that
the
one
question
little
advice.
doctor's note that Dr. Ratio gave to Aventurine in the
right, right.
Penacony
Please
quest.
realize.
Yes, that one. Yeah, you just posted it in the questions channel.
Gotcha.
Thank
Let me
you,
pull that.
Yay. We appreciate it.
Yes, I remember this. Oh, that was such a great like story arc too. Camden
Hmm.
absolutely hit it out of the park with his performance. Um,
Indeed.
all right, cool. Ah, yes, have it. Doctor's advice. Hang on, let me just go ahead and.
Yeah, please.
Ooh,
You've been
yes,
going at it
here
for
it
Wait,
so long.
comes. Yeah,
wait.
brace yourselves, everyone.
The impossible in the dreamscape is not death, but rather dormancy. Do stay alive. I wish you the best of luck.
Ooh, yes, it's
Okay.
That's
perfect.
beautiful. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
We cheered.
Absolutely. So
Everyone's
someone actually.
participation.
Oh yeah, sorry. What?
No, you can continue.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right, so surprise, someone actually did ask for this, and you have every right to say no if you don't want to. But, dear Jordan, can you rap that line from the live stream again, just one more time to send us home?
Oh,
And that's it. Leaving off on a high note, folks.
nice.
I am more than happy to oblige.
Wonderful.
Yes,
All right,
perfect.
do you need the line or do you know it by heart by now? How many takes did they make you do?
I know it by heart, surprisingly.
All
Yes,
right.
let's
All right,
go.
go for it, my friend.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to this session of the Q&A of Dr. Ratio, closing you out with MC Ratio. Lo,
Ooh,
all aboard the universe's #1 train, here to keep us all connected. What, you thought this was a game? Yo!
yes, let's go.
Yes.
All right, Lou, take it away, my friend.
All
Perfect.
right. Well, thank you so much for agreeing. I am so happy, so honored that you were so happy to do this. I can Words cannot describe how grateful I am for this.
Of course, my absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for everyone who attend and ask questions. It was so nice seeing you guys all be so happy. You guys beginning so joyful just brings me to tears. I've been all giggly this entire time.
For sure. It has been an absolute treat.
And thank you to my moderators and the art tab, honestly, the entire staff team for helping out and getting this arranged with me. You guys mean the world to me.
Mwah.
But thank you so much for doing this. I'm so happy.
Yes. You're so happy you agreed to this. Good 2 hours. Wow, time
My gosh,
flies.
yeah.
Time flies when you're having
Drink
fun.
more water. Yeah. Stay hydrated over there.
Stay hydrated.
Do stay alive.
All right. Thank you so, so much. I think I speak for all of us when I say that we're delighted to have you. We will let you go. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And feel free to send
See,
me the information about the P.O. box.
Yes, yes, I will. We'll be in touch about that, and I have your guys' informations, and we'll
perfect.
in touch. Yes.
Thank
We
you.
look
Thank you.
forward to it.
All right. Take care.
Take
Take care
care.
of everyone.
You see you later. Take care, Jordan.
Take care.
Bye.
Toodles.
Bye.
Holy shit.
Alrighty, that was fun, everyone. Glad you